Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira takes place this weekend in the main event of UFC 267, Blachowicz versus Teixeira, and I can't wait for this light heavyweight title fight. This is the best kind of title fight scenario there ever is. The true defending champion in Jan Blachowicz versus the true number one clear-cut contender, Glover Teixeira. Amazing. They're both old guys, so I feel very, very happy watching this fight, knowing that both of them are achieving a lot of money here. Glover Teixeira is going to get paid a bit of money. Jan Blachowicz is going to get more money as well. It's always nice to see the older guys who have put in the mileage get the belt finally and start to make some of that big wonga. Glover Teixeira, 41 years of age. Jan Blachowicz, 38 years of age. This is somewhat unheard of in current MMA standards for age in terms of who's fighting for the title. It's typically always been around 30 to 35. Occasionally nowadays you'll get like a 27-year-old get to the belt, but these two are defying the odds. Glover Teixeira, I mean, what an amazing story so far he's had, especially recently in his career. Came over to the UFC very late in his career, had some visa issues. Now he's beaten every contender in a row. I believe it's 5 in a row now in his career, and he's looked great in every single one of them. He started by beating Carl Roberson, who stepped up on short notice from the middleweight division, got rocked really badly, came back, got the job done in the first round by submission against a dangerous contender at the time who had a lot of power, I guess, because he rocks Glover Teixeira. You got to have some kind of power. Glover Teixeira then took on Ion Cutelaba, who's very good now, but at first he was a young guy coming up, very boisterous, very bullyish, coming in against Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira tells him not today. Ion Cutelaba rocks him really badly, almost finishes him, actually throws an illegal knee against him at one point as well and almost finishes him with that. Glover does not care. He turns it around in the second round, gets the second round submission after being rocked in the first round. He goes against Krylov, a dangerous guy at the time, ekes out a split decision in a grappling fest and looks amazing there as well against a young guy in Krylov. Then he goes in there and takes on Anthony Smith. And everyone's, okay, here's where Glover's ascension is probably going to end. He's defied the odds long enough. He went to a split decision with Nikita Krylov. He's lucky to get that decision. He's probably going to lose to Anthony Smith. And here's where the doubting of Glover Teixeira began in his recent run towards the title. At least this is where it started for me. I definitely picked Anthony Smith to beat Glover Teixeira. But no, Glover Teixeira goes out there, takes an absolute arse whooping in the first round, comes back in the second, and starts putting it on Anthony Smith. He only actually got one takedown in that fight. Other than that, it was Smith losing position, going for his own takedown, and Glover taking the backside mount, or him knocking down Anthony Smith in one of the rounds as well. Other than that, though, Glover Teixeira beat the hell out of Anthony Smith. In fact, beat the teeth out of Anthony Smith because his teeth are falling out in the middle of the fight. I mean, it was a brutal beatdown from Glover Teixeira. Put him on the map as a real legit contender. I continued to doubt him against Thiago Santos, and he sleeps Thiago Santos with a rear naked choke in the third round after being dropped twice in that fight as well. I mean, he takes damage in every single fight that he's in, but he always finds a way to come back around, and it's the same situation for Jan Blachowicz. I do believe Jan Blachowicz has got this one in the bag. I know I've just sung Glover Teixeira's praises for 3 minutes straight, but it's such a cool story to finally see Glover Teixeira get a title shot, because I would have never believed you if you told me this 5 years ago. I'm leaning the way of Jan Blachowicz here, but Jan Blachowicz has had a very similar story. I doubted him the entire way through unless certain matchups came up. I picked against him for the Luke Rockhold fight. I thought Rockhold was a former middleweight champion. He's going to beat this guy, this random light heavyweight contender, Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz sleeps him, of course. Luke Rockhold has a knack for getting slept whenever he loses a fight. Very bad beatdown. Almost finished him at the end of the first round. Came out there in the third round, or the second round, sorry, and flatline KO'd him, broke his jaw, finished him off afterwards. And then Corey Anderson or Jacare Souza comes up next. I picked him against Jacare Souza. It was a close one. I thought he won it very clearly, and he did win it very clearly. There was a little bit of shady Brazilian judging going on there to give him one of those fights. It was in Brazil after all. Then he goes against Corey Anderson. No way he wins this one. He lost before. Sleeps him in the first round. Then he goes in there against Dominic Reyes. Reyes just beat fucking John Jones. You know what I mean? No way he beats Dominic Reyes. Reyes beat the best light heavyweight ever, John Jones. Brutalized him for 3 of 5 rounds very clearly. If you can't see that, you're delusional. 3-2 Dominic Reyes. Sleeps Reyes, and not just sleeps Reyes. He didn't catch Reyes out of nowhere. He walked through Reyes, blitzed him, bruised up his ribs, smacked him about, destroyed him, got the job done in the second round, just straight up blitzed right through him like he was absolutely nothing in that division, like he wasn't the guy who we just watched completely destroy John Jones for the first 3 rounds of a 5-round fight. Then he goes in there against Israel Adesanya. I doubt him again, and he just outstrikes Adesanya for 5 straight rounds. I know people don't like to hear that. They say, no, he didn't. He used the takedowns in the later rounds, and even the promo for this fight makes it seem like Adesanya was winning the striking battle, and then somehow out of nowhere, Jan Blachowicz gets the takedown in the later rounds, and it was the weight that won him the fight. I mean, Joe Rogan's response to the fight happening is the fact that, oh, well, this is just what happens when you take on a bigger guy and he gets on top of you. No, Jan Blachowicz outstruck Israel Adesanya on significant strikes at range every single round of their fight. I thought he won the first round clearly. He definitely won the second round as well. And I thought he lost the third maybe, but there's an argument that he could win it. I honestly feel like he could actually win that third round when you go back and watch it. He got a takedown in that round again, let's not forget. And he used takedowns in the later 2 rounds to secure himself the victory and make it more dominant. I mean, both of these guys, a true Disney story at the fact that they're in this position right now. Looking forward to this fight now. Glover Teixeira's got great grappling. Jan Blachowicz, great striking. Equally somewhat decent grappling. Glover should not be the underdog that he is. He should not be that big of an underdog in any way whatsoever. There is never a moment where Glover should be this big of an underdog. Have the odds makers not learned their lesson from making him this big of an underdog against Thiago Santos and Anthony Smith? He denies the odds. And I feel like the bigger the underdog he is, the more power he seems to have. But he is getting older. I know sometimes people say you get better with age, but I feel like Glover, I don't think he's getting better with age, okay? I think he's just managing to get through these fights, one after the other. Some guy knocks him down or beats the fuck out of him. They either gas out from beating him up, or they knock him down and give up a bad position on the ground, and Glover ends up on top. And when he's on top, Glover's a very, very dangerous man in the light heavyweight division. One of the best grapplers, I'd say, of all time in the light heavyweight division. Don't mind if I say that. Glover Teixeira is very good, also quite dangerous on the feet, but on the feet, Jan Blachowicz is going to sleep Glover Teixeira. I'm going to go the first round KO for Jan Blachowicz here. Amazing matchup for him. But Glover should be like a... Jan should barely be a 2-1 favourite in my opinion, and he's over that. He's over that by quite a bit. I don't even feel like he should be a 2-1 favourite. Maybe just under, maybe like a -180 or something like that. Like, I understand that Jan can win this one with one punch, but Glover can win this one with one takedown, maybe. And they're the same thing, really. But Glover's got a chance on the feet. Jan Blachowicz has a chance on the ground. Let's not forget, Jan Blachowicz is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's no slouch on the ground. He just used grappling to his advantage against Israel Adesanya. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Jan Blachowicz hasn't really stuffed too many takedowns in his recent fights, mainly because he knows where to stand now against his opponents who kind of want to take him down in certain moments. He never gave Corey Anderson a chance at a good takedown, so he never had to defend a takedown. He just slept him in the first round whenever he ducked into it. So, Glover Teixeira, people are going to say, Glover got out-grappled by Corey Anderson in a 3-rounder. Corey Anderson out-grappled Jan Blachowicz in a 3-rounder. That was a very long time ago, and I feel like Jan Blachowicz has improved massively in his grappling defense. But I'll chuck you right back another example. Nikita Krylov got choked out in the second round by Jan Blachowicz, got out-grappled by Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz shot a takedown on him and got him in a bad position and choked him out with an arm triangle choke from the side position. Glover Teixeira took him to a split decision and barely won it, by the way. Barely won it. I think he actually won the fight via Nikita Krylov being on his back and Glover like shaking him off of his back, and Nikita falls off the top, which makes Glover end up on top at the end of the third round. It was a razor close fight, and Nikita was giving Glover a lot of problems in the grappling, a lot of problems on the feet, and Glover was doing the same. He was landing good shots on the feet, he was getting his own takedowns, he was making his own reversals, he had his own submission attempts, but he's not a monster against everyone. And if you can use the example of, Anderson out-grappled Teixeira and Anderson out-grappled Jan Blachowicz, yeah, that's what I meant. Anderson out-grappled Teixeira, and also Anderson can out-grapple Blachowicz because Teixeira is a better grappler than Blachowicz, and Teixeira did better in the grappling against Anderson than Jan Blachowicz did. I believe I just said in this fucking video that Teixeira out-grappled Anderson. Didn't mean to say that. I'm just saying in terms of a pecking order of grappling, from the Corey Anderson fights as an example, you would assume that Glover Teixeira is the better and more capable grappler out of the two of them in today's main event or this weekend's main event. But Jan Blachowicz against Krylov choked him out in the second round like it was nothing. He's got abilities on the ground, he's got abilities on the feet, and I think he's going to catch Glover Teixeira and finish him off in the first round with a shoveling hook as Glover ducks down into something. I think Jan's going to throw a lot of check hooks, a lot of stiff jabs, a lot of right hands as well. I've got a hair in my mouth. That has now been removed from my face. This is a mess. Landing big shots, swinging hooks over the top, making Glover duck under stuff and try and find his way on the inside. Glover's like this the whole fight long with his twitchy little hands, coming forward like this. And I think Jan eventually is going to make him go into it, make him start ducking under stuff, and eventually he's going to come looping up with like a shoveling hook, landing straight on the chin of Glover Teixeira, sinking Glover Teixeira like a controlled demolition right to the ground, and then Jan Blachowicz is going to finish the job with hammer fists. The one problem that people have when it comes to finishing Glover Teixeira, like they should be able to, is they rush the finish, they get overexcited, and they go, ugh, and they start running towards Glover, ramming their hips into Glover's face. I don't know why they do it, but they always do it. It's like they haven't been training for decades of their life, and they just forget all of it when they drop Glover Teixeira. Either way, Thiago Santos drops Glover Teixeira in the first round, sprints towards him. Oh my god, I'm gonna finish him. Oh, he's got my hips. Oh, I'll just fucking rain down Yair Rodriguez hammer fists on the fucking side of his head. But he's got you now. He's in on your hips. He's going to drive through, finish the double leg, end up on top, and now you're gassed out looking for a finish. Gustafsson did the same thing. Even though he finished Glover Teixeira in the later round of that fight, he did the same thing against Glover. He dropped him twice in the earlier rounds of that fight with beautiful combinations, Mortal Kombat style combinations. Then he goes out there, and he just runs straight into Glover, gives him his hips, and starts trying to do all of these little Yair Rodriguez punches. Jan Blachowicz finishes people in a different way from everyone else. He knocks you down. He looks, every time he does this, I've watched it every single time he does a finish. You can see it very clearly when he goes against Dominic Reyes and he drops him in that fight. He very slowly, very methodically, plods towards his opponent, eyes wide open. What are they doing? Where are they moving? Are they out for good? Are they still with it a little bit? And then he pushes their legs to the side, finds his room, and rains down clear-cut shots of hammer fists right down on the face of his opponent. He did it to Luke Rockhold, dropped him. Is he good? Shimmy to the side, bing, 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 bing. It was a crazy combo that he finished off Luke Rockhold with. Finished Corey Anderson, landed the big shot, shimmied off to the side, hammer fist, hammer fist, hammer fist. Again, in his fight with Dominic Reyes, he trudged forward, he checked what was good, he pushed the legs, landed big shots, finished the fight. Reyes was really badly hurt. I think that Glover Teixeira is going to get dropped. I think Jan Blachowicz is going to see where he's at. I think Glover's going to try getting back up. I think Jan's going to be to the side. I think he's going to wind up a big Yoel Romero, Luke Rockhold style uppercut on Glover, flatten him back down again, finish with hammer fists. Glover's going to be done, and Jan Blachowicz is the champion, finishing Glover in the first round. I hope Jan Blachowicz wins. I like Glover Teixeira. I'd like for him to get a UFC belt. It would be a great storyline, but I'd much prefer Jan Blachowicz as a champion. In all honesty, he's way more marketable. He's younger. It gives Adesanya the chance to beat the guy that beat him before. Because let's be honest, I mean, the next fighter is Jiri Prochazka, who's like an alternate for this event as well, by the way. If Jan Blachowicz beats Jiri Prochazka after beating Glover Teixeira, and Adesanya, let's say, beats the winner of Cannonier Brunson after beating Robert Whittaker in his rematch, there's not much else to do but a Marvin Vettori trilogy at middleweight, or maybe a Strickland fight if we're lucky and the planets align that way. And they're going to be looking to do Adesanya versus Blachowicz too. This time Adesanya's bulking up, and this time he's really going to be the size of Jan Blachowicz, and now it's going to be different, and they're going to make that fight again, trying to perfect Adesanya's legacy. And it makes sense that way, and I prefer it that way as well, because I don't want Adesanya beaten. You never like to see a guy who could have perfect legacy lose to a guy that they can't ever redeem against. You know what I mean? Like, I wish Matt Hamill would have somehow found his way back towards the belt when John Jones was a champion, just so he could remove that off of his legacy and get a nice clean slate on his record. However, Looking forward to this matchup. I reckon Jan Blachowicz has got this one in the bag. He's got great stand-up. I don't think Teixeira is going to be too much of a problem on the feet. Plus, Jan Blachowicz does have a reach advantage. If you're looking at the stats here, I think Jan Blachowicz leads in a lot of them. Reach, he's got over him. He's got a bit of height over him as well, but they're similar size. But Jan Blachowicz is going to be a slight bit taller than him in those situations. I think he's way stronger than Glover Teixeira. He's got great positional understanding with his back against the cage. He gets underhooked very well. He's got a very strong base in his game. He never really does too much crazy footwork. In fact, I think that's going to benefit him here. A lot of people that do crazy footwork and move around a lot, they're off balance whenever someone does get a really good takedown shot on them. Jan Blachowicz, he stays very centered, keeps his center of gravity very, very based, stays still, keeps his hips straight onto his opponent, takes very nice steps forward. He doesn't do too much sporadic movement. I think he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns of Teixeira, land the big shots that he needs to, and put him away. He's also got the strike and accuracy advantage here, 49% to a 47% of Glover Teixeira. Not to mention the majority of Glover Teixeira's punches are to a downed opponent as he's on top of them, so they're going to be very accurate. Jan Blachowicz does his work on the feet, and he's still more accurate than Glover Teixeira. Plus, he takes on guys like Israel Adesanya, and he's still more accurate than Glover Teixeira. One thing I do want to mention, they both have a similar strikes landed per minute, different positions, one on the feet, one on the ground, very similar. The defense stats, very similar as well, 54% for Glover Teixeira, 53% for Jan Blachowicz. But the strikes absorbed per minute, Glover takes way more shots per minute than Jan Blachowicz does. And Jan just doesn't have that damage in his career that Glover does. I mean, Jan Blachowicz doesn't really get finished in his career. He gets taken to a decision, he gets beaten up, or he gets outmaneuvered and out-grappled and out-held and out-control-timed in a fight. Glover gets beaten up, he gets slept. He gets really badly beaten. You know what I mean? I feel like he's taken that damage. He's even older now. Jan Blachowicz has been way more active than him. Glover has not fought since this time last year. I think it's going to be a little bit too much for Glover. I think he's going to come out there. It's his big moment. For this, it's Jan Blachowicz's second defense. He's been here before. He's been in the bright lights. He's been in the pay-per-view main event. I know Glover's fought John Jones before, but this is his big moment. This is the last chance Glover's ever going to have of getting a title shot. You can bet your bottom dollar on that, because there's no way the UFC are going to give him there's no way the UFC are going to give him an easy time getting back towards a belt at his ripe old age of 41 if he does lose this one. So he's got it all on the line. He's his last chance to get a belt. I think he's going to be a little bit jittery in the first round. Jan Blachowicz is just another defense for him. I think he plays it calm, plays it patient, lands the shovel uppercut as Glover maybe dips into something, finishes him off with hammer fists. Jan Blachowicz first round KO. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.